Hey guys, it's Mike G back here with Logical Raptors Fanatic. I just want to thank everyone for the support, the likes, the comments, the subs. Wow. I never even thought that I'd hit like 50, let alone 55. Wow. I just want to say thanks to everyone that has shown support. I also want to do a couple of shout outs before we get to everything. Uh, I just want to do a shout out to the Woolridge Report. He's a great guy. Like, if you're into like deeper conversations, he's cultivated a great comment section where he like replies and actually goes deep with everyone on his comment section and really cares about everyone's voices, which is really great. And I think it's really interesting little dynamic. His takes are also usually well researched, and he's open to hearing new information if you're presenting new information, which is always great because he's always gonna accept the best, most truest information, so he'll most likely be correct most of the time, right? And you can rely on someone like that from their mentality of growth, right? And I want to shout out Tom Duke representing all us Raptors fans and like hanging out with Scotty for a couple minutes, getting a picture, like showing Scotty that we got fans from everywhere, all over Canada that really appreciate him and the team and all the guys and everything that they're doing. And I think it's really important for Scotty to know that he really does have a full country behind his back. So I just want to shout out to Tom Duke, official, for real. And then right now, I don't want to make this video too long. Like I could probably go on forever. Like there's so much I have to like focus in on information because I have so much to say. I could have made that Nick Nurse video 2 hours, but then it kind of gets to a point, right? You only have so much time during the day, and there's so much content to watch. And I know, like, I dropped my Nick Nurse video before Media Day, and then I let kind of Media Day roll. We got a bunch of great content from Grubstown, from Raptors Freak, from the Raptors Republic, the Raptors Digest, Chev, you know, the crew, everyone that's kind of in the Raptors space. And they delivered some great content. And I think it's just, you know what I mean? Like life happens and you only can devote so much time to listening to Raptors stuff. So I just want to make this one a little bit shorter this week and like more of like an off-season kind of review of what I've done over the last month or so of the off season and kind of put it in perspective going forward and make some connections with different things and talk about Rico's epic, I think, just 100%, a million percent facts. So I hope you guys enjoy. All right, so here on this slide, well, I'm going to start off by talking about the type of content that I've kind of delivered and want to focus on going forward. Like, obviously, I got some feedback on the trade tree video. I did a whole series on salaries and extensions and roles and kind of breaking down different players' games currently. Then I had a couple like story type of videos with growth history, development molds, and then other like interesting different stuff like Raptors rotations and Raptors effect, like different things I see or different points maybe I haven't heard before and maybe people might find interesting. I'll throw it out there, right? So let's now go into what we've been like doing the last couple of months and give it more context, like fill it out. So this will be like the themes, the stories, connections, confirmations of like things that were said in previous videos. And so we'll start off here with Fred VanVleet. Obviously, we talked about him quite a bit in the extension series. His and what he said on media day, obviously, his contract talks go directly to that extension series. Future role goes directly to that extension series, and command of role goes to that extension series. I think we also talked about some of his weaknesses and health being a consideration, which he also talked about in some of his medias. So there's a lot of connections. I can't get to them all. Obviously, you can see this whole page. There's not even Juancho Hernan Gomez, where he actually said that he used to get Vince Carter tapes, which is something reminiscent of what I said in Raptors Effect, funny enough. Like a direct confirmation of a guy from Spain that had that kind of Raptors effect on him. And Masai understands it, he knows it. But all right, back to Van Vliet. So we did go through a lot of the different stuff that's kind of being said right now a bit more now that it's getting closer this season. So I decided to kind of roll my plan out earlier than everyone else just to kind of when there wasn't a lot of content being made about it at that time. So if anyone wants to know like my current takes that are being said right now, they're kind of more back in. I know the audio quality is kind of suspect. Some of my first audio that I recorded ever. I used to do like skateboarding videos, so audio's not really key on those. You just blast some music on the background and clip some clip some video clips and you know what I mean? Rearrange it, bada bing, you're done. So I'm really expanding and trying to grow my role. And you're gonna see an extra little surprise in the next section here. We're gonna upgrade. So let's get on to Scotty though. Scotty Barnes, obviously we talked about him in the extension series finale. We planned out his future role, but where I was positioning him and have been talking about him in a bunch of videos, the Raptors rotations videos, and talking about his position as point guard. I think the way I see his game and he sees his game, the way he wants to play, I see it like a Magic Johnson kind of player, but plays ridiculous switchable defense, right? And can do a lot of different things, can step out and shoot and kind of build up similar to the way Pascal built up over time, like lock down certain skills every summer, start working, start really putting in that grind and really developing his game out. But I think ultimately no matter how versatile he'll get, I think him at the point guard position creates a ridiculous mismatch and really emphasizes this role, s- big size role that or Project 6'8", sorry, a bigger sized role lineup. But even Fred VanVleet was interesting. Shout out Samson Folk again. He came with great statistics and a great question to Fred VanVleet about his catch and shoot numbers being ridiculously elite. So I knew that kind of that stat, those stats, not that exact stat, but what his stats were. We talked about some of it, and I see him as a shooting guard that can be point guard at times where it's needed, where the experience and someone that understands what's going on may need to take control, but ultimately, I think Scotty's gonna start you're gonna start seeing him and Fred kind of play role off each other like Lowry did with Fred VanVleet. And so I think we talked about that role kind of tandem there. So in the Nick Nurse video, obviously we laid out kind of what the Raptors look for when they're bringing coaches in and what kind of happens. They get brought into the system for a while and grow. and do a whole bunch of different things, right? And it's really interesting, like how just the way that they develop. Because if you look at Trevor Gleason's like history, if you went through it, which I'll probably do at some point, but I want to let him marinate in our system a little bit, see what kind of effects are grown out of him, see what kind of different things I hear from him, get to know him better, obviously. Like you have to watch a guy for a while to really get to know who he is as a person, right? So but I think this ties directly into Trevor Gleason and what Nick Nurse was talking about developing Trevor Gleason and the other coaching staff. And I'm going to go into it a little bit later more, but we'll move on. So the Messiah's great, great like condemnation of the kind of rhetoric the American media has been using against kind of global superstars, trying to discount their abilities and effectiveness in the NBA world. And I think Masai kind of gave a foreshadowing if they don't change their ways, they're really gonna find themselves behind the eight ball more or less, right? Looking at losing the game pretty much, right? But not Well, I don't wanna get too deep on this because we talked about it a bit, and I still want this is more of a future video, but he did talk about the global expansion, seeing this as a global game, not just that. And I think that connection is throughout even in my Nick Nurse developing value video where we talked about him being the new prototype because he's an international coach that has played international ball. So is Trevor Gleason. Like, you know what I mean? So this this really matters and the players you get and how you have to search the whole world to find the best players. If you want to find someone that's not being scouted, you have to search everywhere to find them. That's how it is. So obviously Chris Boucher, we did a whole video on him developing value. I think it's really interesting with my videos. I always want to try to tie them to something current. Like I heard a lot of talk about whether Chris Boucher's contract was good or not. So I wanted to kind of show where the value came from. Because Masai and stuff don't really usually miss on contracts like that in like the 10 million and under range. They usually hit on good value for those guys, right? And I think Chris Boucher earned his contract. We went through it, right? I don't want to go too much into it. We talked about his role kind of in Raptors rotations. I've been dropping stuff about Chris and Raptors effect too, like, you know what I mean? So, role this year, role understanding. He confirmed pretty much all the stuff that I was kind of saying about a glue guy. He's not necessarily one style of player anymore. He's going to be a glue guy that kind of does everything when we need it, kind of extremely versatile guy. And then OG. I know I said there was like, okay, to understand what trades, to understand what trades are, you have to evaluate. And so to evaluate, you have to explore. And to explore, you have to talk about things, right? So I was talking about a structure of a deal, OG and Flynn for Turner in 2 seconds, or sorry, two firsts. I did the mistake in my first video again. Wow, wow, wow. Sorry, sorry. Um, but yeah, I outlined the structure and just I think the first were the big deal and the playable bench player, a controlled asset. I haven't kind of gone into that kind of salary dynamic of having a player that you know won't grow, so you can bet on how much they're gonna make and still make and roll them properly into your lineup. So that I haven't gone into that. So there's a lot of different stuff. Like there was so much stuff said today that I can't even like it's gonna take a bunch of videos, but I'll probably eventually talk on most of the things that were said today and all the days in media day, right? And I wanna something that I missed on because I think reflection is important. It's important to kind of go back and reflect on some of the things that were said. And I can't even remember the exact video I said it, but I thought because of Kem's couple injuries, like the start and stopping of his season, really threw off his rhythm. Because in Tampa, like I saw his lateral quickness. I understood what he brought regarding offense and defense, and I thought his contract was a bargain. And like no one throws a fastball past Masai anymore. We learned off the Damari Carroll situation, which was tough, but we learned the lesson and we've kind of moved forward with better kind of principles and learned from our mistakes. Like it's really important to grow from. But Ken Birch, we found out recently that 5, 6 games into the season, he tore a ligament in his knee. And so like I he wasn't like everyone wants to trade him right now and wants to cut him and do all this crazy stuff because he makes that amount of money. But I knew that him playing under Nick Nurse in Team Canada and all that kind of stuff. Masai and Bobby scouted him probably growing up. I seen him. We brought him as one of the camp invitees during a bunch of the seasons that he was drafted and overseas because I saw him in a bunch of old open gym clips. So we've been scouting him for a really long time. So we know what he can do, how he's grown, what he's gotten, at, like resource wise, because you always have to look at the player and always determine how much were they supported and given the right tools and resources and knowledge, because that's part of it too, right? Masai always bets a little bit that he can get a guy that wasn't supported properly maybe on another team or understood what he was capable of and has the right mentality and might have the ability to uh, elevate his position, right? Like Gary Trent Jr., we picked him up. Portland wasn't really using him correctly, and then we throw him, tell him how to do a whole bunch of things. He works on a bunch of things, and he's a bunch better, right? That's that's kind of I think resources, and I think Kem hasn't really got the resources. So him signing here was more, and we're now in a power position when we sign people. We're not like the old days where you had to overpay for guys like craziness. Like we're not doing that anymore. Guys, if they want to come and grow with us and be part of something winning and learn how to be a winner and get kind of that Masai patina, because even when Masai lets guys go, they tend to pick up contracts in other places and get real chances to play on those teams. And I think it's a patina that kind of like if Masai's interested in this player, it's like, oh, maybe there's something to that player, like because he's gotten so many decisions correctly. His scouting staff's so excellent that I think he's a trendsetter in that way. So I think I'm not worried about Cambridge. I'd like to see him more healthy, but that's why I don't like to talk on things I don't understand yet, and I kind of left him out of the whole extension series and left it off the table for that time, and we found out what happened. So that's interesting, obviously, changes a couple things. But let's get into the Rico Hines stuff now, I think. All right, so on media day, obviously, I should have made a bigger deal about this because I'm a growth development channel and we just got like literally the guru of growth development of like the whole league in a sense where his runs have become legendary stuff. Everyone knows kind of they've been watching that, all that stuff. I don't want to kind of go over everything that people already kind of know, but I want to go into tying some of the thoughts that he laid down in his one one interview that he's had so far, he just like blew the doors off, giving straight truth like to the reporters. I don't think they were ready for the truth he was cooking. And obviously you could see like the reporters' minds were blown because he was talking straight truth, cooking, cooking on what it means to be growth and development. So this is my first time bringing in a audio clip that wasn't recorded by me. I think I have the mic thing down, so we're gonna try to grow here. And hopefully we don't get strucken down or anything crazy like that. So here we go. Clip number one.
For me to come here.
How does what you do in terms of player development and the way they do things, how are they different and how do they complement each other?
Well, no, I think it complements. I think it fits like a glove. You know what I mean? And here's why: is because they believe in hard work, they believe in development, they believe in uh, 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 doing everything in house, and I'm a big fan of that. You know, it's all about hard work and not skipping a step. We always talk about not skipping any steps and having a great plan all summer, and
And okay, I just want to stop it there for a second. It's really interesting because I went over that, like talking about in my Raptors effect and my Chris Boucher developing value a video about character. It's that character to not skip steps and actually put in the honest hard work that's gonna pay off. No cheating. You can't cheat this. There's no cheating it. There's only truth and growth. There is no cheating in this game. You can pose for a long time, but you will get found out eventually. Real ones see who puts in the work, and I think that it was really interesting, Rico. In some of the clips we're not gonna show here or talk about here, but he went into how Pascal Siakam's one of the hardest workers and all that kind of stuff. So he really understands what it's about, I think, and he'll continue. I'll let him continue with the truth in.
even throughout the season having a plan as well. And I think I fit well with that because I'm all in on it. You know, I'm all in on it. I have a lot of passion for it, and you know, I have a great relationship with a lot of the guys already. And it was just easy. It was an easy transition for me.
So right there, like his passion. This is what I'm like kind of on my passion for growth and development. It's my true belief that I actually feel these things, right? Like, and he feels it too. So, not gonna lie, I'm gonna have to give him. I have to give him a point there, right? He's cooking. He's warming the kettle, getting it a little warm, you know. But I think it's interesting that how the Raptors bring people in and they want these people to have pride in their job and to actually really care about their job. And getting guys that are elite in an area and letting them do their job. And then, like, that's how things work. And then with the open time that these people have, they can grow and expand their bag in other areas, just like the players. And we'll go into some of that later. But it's it's so crazy how like they see growth at every single position. And the front office is one of those positions we like to develop scouts into GMs and do all that kind of stuff. And we turn assistant coaches into head coaches. And we're looking at Trevor Gleason. We have Adrian Griffin that's ready to go. We have a bunch of guys that I think would be great head coaches. But even looking at someone starting their journey kind of anew, have been with us for 10 years, Eric Kuzi, where he's the new 905 head coach. And he actually started with us doing analytics, so the programming stuff, where he would program the algorithms to pick up different pick and roll coverages. He went through it. It's really interesting. It's it's the metrics I'm talking about in my Raptors rotation video that they're looking for with different lineups and all that kind of stuff. They have a big kind of program machine they feed numbers into and kind of have guys that know basketball, like programmers that know basketball, and they kind of program the the program to understand basketball as closely as possible, right? And I think, all right, let's get on to our next clip here.
It makes a good player coachable. For me or for like anybody.
For you. For you.
Well, I think for me, man, like I've had the chance to to work with so many great players, man. So many great players over time, and it's built the respect. You know, the respect that people know that I care about, and I genuinely want them to accomplish their goals and dreams, and I want them to be great. So it's easy for me. You know, it's easy for me to have the respect of guys because they know it's coming from a pure place of them wanting to be well. So I would think there's just the pureness of a player wanting to be great, wanting to be the best person and the best player that they could possibly be. I told somebody today, I said, you know, you prayed all your life to make it to the NBA. Now I'm here. So now, you know, why should I be upset or mad about anything? I should just work as hard as I possibly can and let the chips fall where they may. So I think it's just the conversations that you have with guys and they'll feel your pureness and your passion for them.
And that's oh man, whew, that's exactly what I was trying to get at with in my Nick Nurse developing value build video. It's about that trust, the box in one trust situation, that trust, that honest trust. This is a money game. Everyone's hungry. These kids have been these kids have seen people trying to get after them and trying to push up using them and whatever, you know what I mean? Like use them to get promoted and stuff. And they see that. They see those type of people that don't honestly care. This is a guy that truly cares and wants to connect with people and really wants to see them grow and has a true passion for it. And he just told you exactly what it takes to really have true growth. And he's gonna go deeper where he's gonna cut it down a little bit more. So I'm gonna have to give him some more points, man. Wow. Like he hit it there. He hit it there. He was hitting his groove in the second period. Yeah, yeah. Rico Hines doing work, doing work. All right. So we'll go into the third clip here.
When you say overall game, I'm just wondering, is it possible to work on too many parts of your game at one time, or
No,
is it?
I'm just talking about just your overall
Yeah.
game. You know what I mean? To make when you work on your overall game, this whatever it takes to win. That could be rebounding, that could be dribbling, that could be passing, that could be playing defense, whatever it takes to win the basketball game. It ain't just about development. Just doesn't come with a cone or a stick. You know what I mean? Development is conversations and your mentality and working on your overall game. It's not just dribbling and it's your overall game.
His work ethic. Sorry, can I jump in? His work ethic. We just got finished talking with a couple of his teammates, and one just
Like, see, I want to tie something back to where I said it's about character and size in my Raptors effect video. And that's kind of what I meant. It's not about dribbling or specific skills in this per se. It's about character and willingness to learn. Like I equated it to instruments, but everyone talks about tools in the bag, right? But Nick Nurse believes in that philosophy, and I think he also said that his philosophy is completely like the same as the Raptors almost, right? So I think it's really interesting to understand like the truth of what this whole thing is about growth and development and like players growing, succeeding, getting paid, taking care of their families, doing a bunch for their communities, like being inspiration for people. You know what I mean? That's like it's all so big, but the little things matter. And I think that's where Messiah is always putting emphasis on people that understand that part. The little things matter, how you talk to people, conversations, different things. Like he always promotes togetherness, talking. That's a big like thing in the whole like organization, communication. Everyone's talking, everyone's on the same page, everyone's working together, right? It's all about everyone growing together, working together, team first, right? And then everyone individually can promote their skills. And that's where I think some of my videos focus more on the skills, but I think my main focus is more on the overall big structure of it all and looking at the big picture of the organization. More maybe Masai level, less like coach, nurse level, but Masai needs to understand everything in between. So I'll lay down some different things, but I'll leave that space for everyone else that's kind of claimed it. And I'll stick to my kind of territory here with growth and development. So this is my spin on Media Day, and we'll continue with the next clip.
He doesn't even eat breakfast. He thinks he comes to the gym and just starts working it. Is it been that good since you got him? And
Ever since I known him,
yeah,
and I first had him when he came for pre-draft, when they brought him to me for pre-draft, he's always had that work ethic, man. And he's always tried to make winning plays. He's always been a great guy. And sometimes I have to tell him, we can't come back to the gym. You know what I mean? He works. I've worked with a lot of people, and he's right up there with as far as the hardest workers that I've ever been a part of. It's a credit to him and who he is as a person and his family. He has an infectious. He has an infectious personality. Who he wants to be great. He wants to squeeze every part of of ability that he has. He wants to get it out. You know what I
I think that's exactly what the key of development is, squeezing every ounce of ability out and trying everything. Try everything. See if you're good at it. Like put time in to work on different skills. Do different things. Like watch video. Do everything you can. Be a complete pro. This is I'm gonna go into it a little bit in a second, a really good, interesting story, but I'm gonna have to give Big Dog here some more big points. Big points. He was nailing many shots in that clip there, in my feeling. It was a double, well, it was a longer clip that I cut into two, so like it could have a double focus there. So I'll give him more points for that. He hit a bunch of different shots on that one. So we'll go into this clip now.
with the young guys who are trying to put this team? What comes to mind?
Continue to understand what this organization is. You know what I mean? Understanding what they stand for and what they stand for from a player development standpoint. And what I mean by that is hard work, not skipping a step, being here, double days, 3 times a day, whatever it takes. Just following the game plan of the organization already. You know what I mean? Because this place has a great system set. So just follow the blueprint. Don't try.
Follow the blueprint, aka the recipe. The recipe. And this is what I think I want to point out in all my videos. This was a hammered down phrase right here. This is kind of the intricacies and understanding what that system is, what that blueprint is, and what these players are trying to follow, right? We see the outside, we see the results, we see the beginnings, but we kind of don't really see the in between and we don't really get a lot of context of that. So I want to just shine more context on that part in the Raptors recipe videos and a lot of different videos that I'm doing. Like the mold slash recipe matters. They've figured it out. They have some kind of system, and we're gonna explore it and look at the failures, how we built this system up. Like it's taken time. You don't just one day come up with a plan and boom, it's there. It takes time to learn through mistakes in different aspects of making that dream a reality, right? And he's talking about even just the the last bench guy. So I'll let him continue. Hold on.
Change it.
Being through with Pascal for a bunch of years now, this is obviously your first on the Raptors, but from what you've seen from the outside, is this maybe the best built around him in terms of the teams that he's played on? Do you think this team is well built around him compared to how it's been in the
I
past?
think the team is good. I think they've always done a good job of getting good talent, with around him, around Cal, around Fred, around Kawhi. Like I thought they always done a good job of building a great team out here. You know what I mean? Looking from afar. And I think they did a good job this year as well. I think we're deep as a team, and like I said, we just got to continue to work and go out there and see what happens.
You had most, if not all, of these guys in your gym this
Hmm.
summer working together.
Okay, so the trade tree video obviously went into the building around the two stars and how Masai kind of trades in and out of those type of pieces around his true superstars. And we kind of went into the dynamics of how Masai actually builds those teams around these players that he was talking about, which is really interesting. Like he sees it because he's a development guy and saw the development and the great success he has with trading and then developing and making a new guy that fits perfectly and more versatilely and has a bigger talent upside each time. He understands what talent is. He's seen a bunch of guys. He understands what talent can grow, what talent can't. And I think it's really interesting that he thinks that we've built a great team and stuff. And I'm gonna have to give him some more points. So now, like, I guess we'll drop the bonus clip here. But I think those are a bunch of interesting aspects that he's gone into, some of the mainline themes of my whole videos here and stuff. And this is where I think he hits the nail on the head. Alright. The nail on the head, yeah. Alright, so we'll play this clip.
Did you take a lot of satisfaction? I think it was the 1 year, he really, Pascal I'm talking about, really kind of gained a lot of notice, at least on social
Hmm.
media, at your runs. And
18.
then the
Oh,
year
it's
after
most
he goes and
impressive.
ends up,
Yeah, no
NBA. And I
question,
mean,
man.
that's got to be a good feeling
Yeah,
for
yeah,
you.
yeah, no question. Like I have the same feelings for all our guys that come in there, though. You know what I mean? I have the same feelings for a guy like Kevin Punter, who you guys don't even know, who plays for Partizan now, who went from making 30,000 in Poland, you know what I mean, to now making $1.5 million in EuroLeague with Partizan. So, yeah, I feel that good about him, but I feel that good about all the guys that come in there throughout the summer, man, because I love them all, and I tell them all the time, all these guys that come in there with me in the summer, that I love them, and I hope they accomplish their goals and dreams, and I'll be right there for them and have their back.
Boom. 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 Just destroyed it. Just destroyed it. Woo. So, okay. This is the attitude that coaches need to have. It's not just about your best player. It's about every single guy down the bench. And the players see that. They see if you're clouding and magnetizing to certain star players and trying to like build with them instead of everyone else. Teams see that. They've been on teams their whole life. They've seen different coaches here, there, act all types of ways, right? So you can't fake the funk with these players. And I think that's why he gets such great results and players trust him to go to his runs and feel safe in the off season knowing that his purpose is pure and it's just about everybody developing and he wants the right guys, not guys that are going to screw around and do some crazy stuff, right? And I want to go back to an interesting point. He said he was talking about Kevin, right? He said you guys don't even know who he is. I remember a story about someone like that. His name was Fred Van Vliet when he was trying out for teams, wasn't invited to the Columbine, so Combine, sorry. And he he had to go and try out for a whole bunch of different teams. And he said in an interview at one time that like most teams didn't even know who he was walking into the door. And that I think just gave him a super edge on everyone because the Raptors treat him with respect. They had their assistant GM Dan Tolsma down and greeting him, knowing who he is, having everything prepared, like treating him like an honest player that they really wanted and kind of show that kind of family openness, that kind of respect that every player deserves stepping in the gym. And that's part of the stuff that people want to be part of. Like they want to be appreciated. They want to feel that they don't have to worry about things and know that we're all trying to go in the same direction. We're trying to win games. We're trying to develop. We're trying to grow as players. And there's a lot of coaches and guys that really can help players do that. And I think the blueprint, the system, everything that kind of this channel entails, I just want to say, welcome to the Raptors, Rico. I'm so glad you're here, man. What a guru. And first interview, knocked it out of the park, blew up the dome, set the roof on fire, everything in between, and kind of confirmed a lot of things that I said in my coaching video that I dropped before media day. But I think it's more or less about the team. They're the ones that, because these things have been said before. It's just about putting all the pieces together, and I think that's where kind of I want to add to the space, kind of put a lot of the pieces together and maybe come up with a new side of the puzzle, a new different look of the puzzle or whatever. But I want to thank everyone. So some housekeeping now. I know some people have said they've liked certain type of content and some people said they've liked other type of content. I'm gonna still do my trade tree videos and do my salary stuff and my story stuff because I know people like that deep dive story stuff too. So I think those are all facets I'm going to try to grow in and try to build up the complexities of how I approach those topics and have those series kind of be the main focus of this channel. I still don't really I like to tie videos to current but have facts that we're looking at like the past to kind of help determine the future more or less. So I like my videos to kind of have valid information that can be used going forward, almost no matter what, even if that's the case or not. But I like to use Raptors as examples and stuff. So feedback is really key, and I just want to thank everyone for everything, the likes, the subscribes, everything, man. And I got like still tons of ideas. I think focusing on these specific topics, I have tons of material, tons of ideas that I want to do. All right, I want to go through some of my extra stuff here. We got all the Raptors logos from the start, like their unofficial logos and official logos and stuff. We got younger Pascal here, the championship year, I think, or run it back year, probably, maybe. But still, like, that's a great picture. Understanding the connection between these guys kind of blossomed into now we have him with Earl Watts, another great development genius, the guy that developed Devin Booker. We're going up from here. It's about growth and truth, championship mindset, family team together. All right. Logical Raptors fanatic, Mike G out.